Next, we are moving to the topic of weaning. What is weaning? Why weaning is important? Weaning is when we give after the 6 months, as well as we have to give the exclusive breastfeeding. Along with the exclusive breastfeeding, weaning food should be started for the newborn baby. It is good for their health, as well as it is mainly to survive the life of the child also. It will able to develop the growth and development of the child also. And what all the weaning foods, how the weaning foods should be look like, why weaning food is very important, what is the quality and what are the principles, why we have to give for the weaning diet to the children, what are the problems at the time of weaning food, from which month to which month, what are all the foods we will give to the babies. These are all the things we will see inside the topic of weaning. So we move on to the introduction. Breastfeeding alone is adequate and sufficient to maintain the growth and development of an infant up to the age of 6 months. As we all very well know about the breastfeeding. So, after the baby birth, immediately we will start the initiation of breastfeeding. So, exclusive breastfeeding we will start to the baby. So, breastfeeding only adequate, but it is also sufficient. It will maintain the growth and development of the infant, that is up to 1 year baby. So, up to the age of how many months? 6 months. After the 6 months only, we will start the weaning diet. It is therefore necessary to introduce more concentrated energy-rich nutritional supplements by this age. When we give the weaning, it will have the rich nutritional supplements for the age group of the children. It is very necessary to give the nutritional rich food for the babies. Infants also required iron containing food supplements after this age to prevent the iron deficiency anemia. So, if the baby is having infant, so infant the age group is up to 1 year. Infant baby having iron supplements, that is iron containing food supplements, in this age we will give the iron deficiency anemia. So because we will give the iron food supplements, it will able to prevent the iron deficiency anemia. Next, definition. Complementary feeding or weaning. Weaning is otherwise known as complementary feeding or artificial feeding. So complementary feeding or weaning is the process of giving an infant other foods and liquids along with the breast milk after the age of 6 months, as breast milk is no longer sufficient to meet the nutritional requirements of growing the baby. When we give the weaning food, it is one process. When you are giving the food and the liquids along with the breast milk after the age group of 6 months. So, the breast milk is not only to meet the sufficient of the nutritional requirements of the baby. When we are giving the weaning also, it will also meet the nutritional requirements of the growing baby. It is a process by which the infant gradually becomes accustomed to adult diet. So, it is one of the process. So, the infant gradually taking their adult diet. So, in this picture, the mother is feeding the weaning food to the infant baby or the 6-month baby. Next, what are the qualities of the complementary foods? So, first point, liquid at starting, then semi-solid and solid foods to be introduced gradually. Before going to start the weaning food, first we will give the some liquid. after only we will start the semi-solid food. Then after only we will start the solid food. So why we have to give? First we will give the liquid, it will slowly digest. After only semi-solid. After only introduce their solid foods in a gradual manner. Second, clean, fresh and hygienic so that no infections can occur. We will give the clean food and the fresh food and the hygienic foods, because that time no any infections will not occur to the babies. Easy to prepare at the home with the available food items and not costly. What all the food items should be available in the home, that only you will prepare and give. So that food also easily you can able to prepare in the home, and that food items is not that much costly. Easily digestible, easily acceptable and palatable for the infants. So when you are giving the complementary foods, weaning foods to the infant, it should be easily digested for the infant and easily acceptable and palatable. The baby can be able to chew for all the types of foods in the infant period, because based on the cultural practices and traditional beliefs. It should be mainly based on the cultural practices, and along with their traditional beliefs, you should prepare the food according to their culture and according to their traditional beliefs. So this is the picture of the semi-solid food. It should be look like a lumpy and messy texture. So this is the foods comes under solid, semi-solid, liquid foods. Next, what are the principles when we are giving the complementary feeding to the infant baby? What are all the principles? First principle, practice exclusive breastfeeding from birth up to 6 months of age, and introduce complementary foods after 6 months of age along with the breastfeeding. First we have to give the breastfeeding to the baby. From the birth we have to give the exclusive breastfeeding up to 6 months. After the 6 months only we will introduce the complementary feeds along with the breastfeeding. That is the first principle. Second, continuous frequent on demand breastfeeding until 2 years of age or beyond. So when you are giving the breastfeeding to the baby, that breastfeeding should be in a frequent manner. That is how many years? Until 2 years, or otherwise beyond 2 years also. 2 years or 3 years or 4 years, like that. Next, third principle is practice responsive active feeding, applying the principles of psychosocial care. So we will practice the active feeding to the baby. At the time the baby will give any response, that also we need to practice and apply the what is the psychosocial care should be given to the particular baby. Feed infants slowly and patiently, and encourage them to eat but do not force them. When you are feeding the infant baby, you should feed with the use of teaspoon in a little slow manner and patiently. After only you will encourage them to eat them, but you can't able to force the child to eat the food. So this is the picture of exclusive breastfeeding. The mother is feeding to the baby for how many months? 6 months. And this is the picture of mother is feeding to the baby with the use of teaspoon in a slow manner, or a solid or the semi-solid food. Next, fourth principle, practice good hygiene and proper food handling to reduce the risk of diarrhea. When you are giving weaning food to the baby, you will practice in a very good hygienic practices and proper food handling. How you can able to handle the food, because it will reduce the risk of diarrhea. Diarrhea means frequent passing of loose stools in a day, in a 4 times in a day, or a 3 times, or full day they are passing a diarrhea. So next, fifth principle, start at 6 months of age with small amount of food and increase the quantity as the child gets older while maintaining the frequent breastfeeding. When you are starting the weaning diet, first you will start 6 months. In the 6th month, we will give a small amount of food to the baby. After only you will increase the quantity. When the child will get older, you will increase the quantity also. After only we will maintain the frequent breastfeeding to the baby. 6th principle, gradually increases the food consistency also and variety as the infant grows older, adapting to the infant's requirements and abilities. Gradually you will increase the food consistency also. So day by day you will increase the food consistency and variety of food also when the child will grow older. According to that they will adapt the infant according to their abilities also and complete the requirements. Begins the liquid at 6 months. You have to start the liquid diet at 6 months. By the 8 months you can eat the semi-solid. 12 months they can eat the solid and consumed he can eat solid foods as consumed by rest of the family members. By the 8th month the child will start to eat the semi-solid food, and the 12th month the child will start the solid food. It should be mashed and consumed as well as remaining family members. So this is the picture of hygienic practices, and this is the picture of the child is eating the semi-solid solid food. Next, 7th principle. Increase the number of times the child is fed completely food as the child gets older. So how many times the complementary food should be given, that you will increase the times per day. That is a 1 day or 2 days or 2 times or 3 times or 4 times. You will increase the number of times when you are feeding to the complementary food to the baby as well as the child is get older. Next, a breastfeed infant who is 6 to 8 months old needs 2 to 3 meals a day, and at 9 to 23 months he needs 3 to 4 meals a day. If the breastfeed infant, that is who is 6 to 8 months old, they needs only 2 to 3 meals a day. But 9 to 23 months infant need 3 to 4 meals a day. And the 8th principle, complementary foods should provide sufficient energy. It will have a sufficient energy, protein, vitamins, ions and micronutrients. And the complementary foods should include animal products, dairy products, pulses, fruits, vegetables and oils. Next, 9th principle, give micronutrient rich complementary foods or vitamin and mineral supplements to the infant as needed. When you give the micronutrient rich complementary food only, or otherwise when you give the vitamins and mineral supplements to the infant as needed. The 10th principle, it is advisable to start 1 or 2 teaspoons of new food at first, which should be given when the baby is angry just before regular feeding during daytime. First we will start the 1 or 2 teaspoons of new food only. After only we will start, the baby is hungry, we will give the regular feeding and during the daytime. Next, quantity and frequency of weaning food recommended for children 6 to 23 months. So here age 6 to 8 months, how many energy needed in addition to the breast milk is 200 kilocal per day. The consistency is start with liquids and pure food. Frequency is 2 to 3 times per day. How much amount at each meal is? You should start with 2 to 3 tablespoons per feed and increase to about 125 ml. And 9 to 11 months, 300 kilocal per day. When we give the mashed foods 3 to 4 times per day, half cup of 250 ml cup you can give. 12 to 23 months, 550 kilocal per day. That is solid family foods we will give. If needed means mashed foods you will give. 3 or 4 times per day, 1/4 to full 250 ml cup of feed you can give. That is 6 to 23 months. What is the food recommendation for the weaning? That is very important. Next, weaning foods. Here is liquids, semi-solids and solids. Liquids is we can give a soup of vegetables. After that pulse. Next, rice water and fruit juices. Semi-solids, when we'll give the mashed potato, pulses, boiled vegetables, mashed banana, soft cooked rice and fish. Solid foods, cooked rice, chapati, idli, bread, biscuits, groundnuts, banana and fruits. So these are all the weaning foods you will give. Whatever foods you will give, first we will give the liquids, after that semi-solid, next is the solid foods. Next, problems during weaning. So when we are starting the weaning, what are the problems? Several problems should be occur during the weaning. If on starting weaning, breastfeeding is stopped suddenly, it can have adverse psychological effect on the child. So, if the baby is having psychological effect when we stop the breastfeeding suddenly. Weaning food, if prepared unhygienically or not digested properly, can cause diarrhea. So, when you are giving the weaning food unhygienically, if you are not prepared, it can't able to digest it properly, it may cause diarrhea. If weaning foods are not nutrient rich, the child can develop malnutrition. So, if the weaning foods, it is not a nutrient rich food, the child will develop the malnutrition food. Children may develop indigestion, abdominal pain, diarrhea if they are allergic to certain foods. The child will develop the indigestion food, abdominal pain and diarrhea also will occur if the foods will not if the foods, some of the foods also allergic to the child. Next, what are the advantages and disadvantages? It promotes growth and development. It prevents malnutrition, that is protein energy malnutrition. It prevents deficiency diseases such as anemia. This is the advantages. What are the disadvantages? We will not practice in an unhygienic manner. If the weaning food is not nutritious, it can lead to calorie, protein, vitamin or mineral deficiencies. Next, complementary feeding at different age, that is 6 to 9 months. So, what are all the complementary feeding foods we will give the 6 to 9 months? First, rice, wheat, ragi flour, porridge mixed with ghee or milk we will give. Second, with egg yolk. Along with that, we will start first yolk. Afterwards only we will introduce the full egg. Observe for any allergic reaction is there or not. Mashed fruits like banana, papaya or mango. Next, mashed rice with dal and vegetables, but it's not spicy. And we will give the idli, dosa, after that mashed meat or the fish. 9 to 12 months. During this age, child is able to chew food. So, food need not to be mashed. So, at the time of 9 to 12 months, the child can be able to chew the food. So, the food will not able to mashed and provide the chopped food. Child should be eating regular family diet by 1 year of age. When the child should be eating, after completion of the 1 year, regular family diet they will be eat. A child of 1 to 2 years needs to take about half the food his or her mother eats. If the child is having 1 to 2 years, they will eat their food. Afterwards, they will take their mother food also, they can eat. 12 to 18 months, the child can take all food cooked in the family and needs half amount of mother's diet. So, the child will take all type of cooked food in the family in the month of 12 to 18 months and they will take the remaining half amount of food to the mother's diet. Number of feeds can be 4 to 5 times. How many hours, how many times you can feed is 4 to 5 times. Breastfeeding should be continued especially at the night. Only at the night time you will continue the exclusive breastfeeding to the baby. At last, thank you for your cooperation. Thank you.